Yeah. So, I got something very deep to share. Please, please, please take the time to listen to this. I came across a video on IG, and for some reason it spoke to me. I am a very spiritual person, and I, yeah, so I came across this woman's video that was just random on IG. Random for me because it's not somebody I actually follow. It just popped up on my, I guess, For You page is how they put it. But look, so the woman was speaking about basically reconnecting with the higher creator and how to get back in line, with their third eye and your woo. Something she said really spoke to me. So I sat down and started following the instructions that she was saying. Now, these are already things that I already do. I already do meditation, and I had a very, very powerful spiritual meditation the other day, and I wrote it down. Today, the same thing happened, but it was so much deeper. Follow me, please. Okay, so look. So this is my sign, DDTs. Okay, so I was meditating with my eyes closed, and the messages came to me, so I had to write it down. I didn't see what I was writing on. I just was writing with my eyes closed. Okay, so forgive if that looks very sloppy, but yeah. So, um, yeah. So yeah. Okay, so I'm about to tell y'all what I just came out with. Okay, we everything in this world, y'all know how to do the yin and yang. Everything in this world that they have told us is. Ooh, I thought that was a spider. Okay, the Lord know my fears. No distractions. My apologies. Okay, this is very powerful. So, the yin and the yang. This is what I literally just saw. It says, we basically, some of the stories, they have to tell the truth. When I say they, the original, we, not everybody of this planet, of course, but a lot of us, the way that it happened was we were stolen from that other realm that they call heaven. The way that I saw this was we were basically seeds in that garden, seeds that have fallen from that tree, right? And this person had collected those seeds, and knowing the power that those seeds had, this person, this entity who had disconnected themselves from the original source, they took the seeds and threw them. Okay, they threw those seeds down to this world, which is, earth. um and they got buried. Now, those seeds were already connected with the original creator source, with the original source. And so when those seeds landed in the home of the motherland, Africa, they came already with certain knowledges of self. Okay, follow along. The entity that stole those seeds jumped after them after throwing those seeds. So they landed in two different places, right? Now, because that entity had already disconnected itself from source, it landed without any fucking knowledge of self or knowledge of that previous being. So we were landed here originally, um, with ourselves intact. Okay, this is how we were able to build and have certain infrastructures and certain things way back when, we didn't even have technology, way back when they didn't even have calendars. Like, you know what I'm talking about. So a lot of people keep asking these questions. Oh, how were they able to do this? How were they able to do this? Things that we can't even today emulate. We cannot even make this up. The way that they wrap the mummies, they don't know how they did these things. These are things that I believe, well, I saw we already had the knowledge of, right? So because we were still connected to the source, we had the knowledge, and we could only forget who we were, because that entity that stole us had already disconnected itself from source. It could only remember. So when it landed, it was that Neanderthal. Okay, following? You following? Okay. Now, um Okay, good. So, yes, the thing that screwed us is that our intellect and our heart, one of our seeds drifted away and wanted to explore. And you know the saying, curiosity killed the cat? Yes. Okay. I think that was like, uh, I don't know who she was, but the person was curious as to what else was outside of the land that they had already had. They had already developed everything, civilization and all types of shit. And they went out and they seeked something more beyond what we already had, and they actually did not need this is where they screwed up. They end up running into that source that stole us. Now remember, they landed without any knowledge. They were the Neanderthals. No knowledge, no knowledge of self. Now when they saw this being, this, us melanated people, this person who had knowledge of self did not remember this being, did not remember that entity. Okay. So of course, you fail and you get whatever. Forget that. Don't get distracted. Anywho, so um okay, so the I'm sorry, this is so freaking powerful, and I'm so glad that I wrote this down. But it's crazy because I wrote 4 pages. I shit you not, y'all. The pen had ran out on a part of this page, but it's still, you can see it. I'm like, it's very light. The pen had ran out, but then it picked back up. And it was like, what the fuck? Okay, but okay. Stay focused. My apologies. Now, so the only way that this entity, the Neanderthal, was able to get into our world was by invitation. Story of the vampire. A lot of things are going to align with what I'm saying. Think about it. I'm not going to be able to point it all out, because if I do, then I'm going to have to keep stopping and I may get distracted. So forgive me. Make your own connections to the things that we have in this world, the stories that they tell us and the things that they keep on trying to program into our minds. Okay. Now, we can only forget, they can only remember. Now, they bring that person into our land. This is where they fucked up, because once that person saw what we had developed and what we were doing, connecting with the cosmos and lining the stars up and all of these things, and making agricultural advances that were way beyond anything they even comprehended. But once they saw this, they remembered who the fuck they were and what their mission was. Okay. And this also made them envious of us. Why? Because we were the source. That we were a duplication of the source that they were trying to get, that they would basically disconnected themselves from and were trying to get away from. They were trying to steal the seeds and try to make their own world, and show that they could, be just as powerful or even more powerful than the original creator. Now, they came in, they saw this, and they realized what was happening. Okay, we could only go so far. We didn't have the tools to create, a way for us to physically get up there. There's no way for us in this physical vessel to get up there to where we were. Only in the spiritual realm. And they saw that we had already started to do this through certain traditions, through death and things of that nature, even through marriage. They were like, oh shit, now we have to find a way to get them to forget. Okay, so they started distracting us with things. They started introducing us to things that were materialistic. They started introducing us to certain, the money thing. And even though we were actually doing a bartering system. Like we would have certain fragrances like frankincense and myrrh and well, not myrrh, but things like this, incense and shit like that, and we would trade it with people for certain fruits or things like that. So we had the bartering system. So they was like, okay, what can I do to interrupt what they're doing? And they found a way to do that. By interrupting that and distracting us, they took our connection, they severed that connection and made us stop looking up and start looking down, start paying attention to money, and start paying attention to power, and start paying attention to gaining control over and started gaining popularity. These are the things that we started getting distracted by, because they started hyping it up and making it seem like, ooh, this is way more important than that. Okay, cool, yeah, you got that, but why don't you have this? And oh, how can you be, you know what I mean? Just things to make us, one, disconnect from each other, and then disconnect from source. So now picture this. Right now we are in a time of a grand awakening, and so many people are not only cleansing their minds but cleansing their bodies. That's another part of keeping us disconnected, because they realize that our connection is internal. Our connection is through our DNA. Okay, and the only way that they wouldn't be able to just kill us all off, because they actually needed us. We are the seeds that they stole for a reason, right? Okay, cool, we have the power that they need, but they cannot duplicate us without one of us. This is how during slavery, why during slavery they would always separate and find ways to pit us against each other, and they would always take at least one dark skin from out of that plantation off the field and put them in the house to make the other dark skinned people envious of them. This created a little discord among us, okay? And that's why we created that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Now, everything that we created was actually in self-knowledge of what they were doing to us. So some of the things, a lot of the things that we were taught were not actually things of ignorance. It was actually us combating what they were trying to do to us. They were trying to, like I said, make us forget, because we landed with the knowledge of self and they landed without it. And they knew that that's how they could gain power over us and be able to use us for millennia to come, which they have been, right? Since we invited them into our world. Now, a lot of us still introduce them and want to try to show off. With social media, that's what it does. It makes us try to show off what we are capable of doing. But everything that we showcase, they profit off of. Why? One, because it's on platforms that they created, and they, ooh up the bam. And yeah, so they get paid in their ways. But right now, like I said, we're in a time of a grand awakening, and this is where they are fucked, because the more of us, and not just any of us, it happens to be the seeds of the original seeds that got stolen. Okay, those, like I said, we can pass our powers down. We don't ask, energy never dies, it just transfers to a new vessel. Okay, so that's how it originally happened. These seeds, just like when a tree dies, it doesn't really, or when a flower, it drops those seeds. And even with trees as well, they drop seeds like pine cones, and then those get buried, and then they start to form new trees. And those seeds from the plants or the flowers, they drop those seeds, and they pollinate and become, well, not pollinate, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not a goddamn Scientologist. Okay, but yeah, so they basically drop those seeds, and those seeds then have the exact same DNA, just in a different form. So we may look a little different, but we have the same DNA running through our blood. Now, we are the seeds of the original seeds, and those of us are waking up. Those of us are the ones that are cleansing our bodies of the poisons that they have put in us. The ones that are cleansing their minds and starting to reconnect and meditate more, not just anything like this, like they're no longer being distracted by anything on social media or anybody around them in the environments that they're being placed in. They are staying focused, and they're meditating, and they're staying connected to their higher creator. Now, the more the original seeds of the seeds of the original seeds do this, the more they weaken in power, because the more we remember, the more they forget. It is the natural balance of that yin and yang. Okay, you following along? All right. So picture it like this. They, the story of the 40 days, 40 nights, the people traveling in the desert, right? That's everything that they tell us, it has to have a bit of truth in it. If it does not, then they'll start to believe their own lies, and they'll again forget where they came from. And through their lies, we'll start to pick things out, and we'll start to remember, and we'll gain too much power. Okay, they don't want that. Now, right now, the 40 days and the 40 nights story, they people actually, our spiritual beings were actually searching for us. The time and space is actually different. So a day in space, if I'm not mistaken, is damn near a week here on Earth. Okay. I'm gonna look that up. I have wrote that down somewhere, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna correct that. It's not an entire week, but it's a very significant difference between a day here on Earth and a day in space. Okay, so that's the story of our spiritual beings looking for the original stolen seeds, because those original stolen seeds and the seeds of those seeds are actually were actually created to be used against that entity of negativity, of, I don't want to necessarily say evilness, of darkness. Okay, we were actually created to combat one controlling the other. It was created to create a basically a perfect semblance, balance of both, because there is no world of just all good and all bad, right? One cannot exist without the other. So we were created to keep certain things in control, and that entity wanted all the control. Okay, which is why this world is the way that it is, because that entity had gained that control through teaching, passing their teachings down. Okay, and we were not allowed to have our teachings passed down because we had our history books burned, our schools burned down, our, burned. Everything was burned. Okay, just scorched, and that through fire, everything is forgotten. All right, because you can't remake certain things. Yes. Y'all, this was yes. So like I was saying, picture it. All right, so picture it like we are the plants. Now we're just the little seeds, and then there's the environments that we're in, and then there's the environment that city, that environment is in, that is controlled by certain laws and certain rules and a governor, and then that state, which is controlled by another person. Each layer is controlled by someone else. Okay, each layers are controlled with spells. Now the bottom layer, which is us in our household, are already being trained, or already have been trained to teach our children certain things. What did we used to be taught when we was younger? I was born in 88. I'm a 90s baby. Whatever. You have to work what? Twice as hard to get half as far. This is already putting in our minds that we are not that we are weaker than them, but that this world is stronger than us, and that we will have to fight tooth and nail. And by putting that message in our head, a lot of us gave up before we even tried, because we was like, well, what the fuck? Why would I want to try? You know what I mean? Why would I want to work my ass off twice as hard to get half as far? And they don't have to even, you know what I mean? So they put a lot of things in our mind to keep us at a certain level of wanting to try. All right. And then there's that city state. Now, when you picture this, picture that earth with the middle core, and then that second layer, and the way that they break that open to us. Like I said, everything is connected. They have to have a bit of truth. That is not a part of the earth. That is a structure of their layers of control over us. Okay. So at that top core is where, in reality, where we should be. Okay, but we're actually at that core. That is what we are. Now, the more we get cleanse our body and cleanse our mind and stay focused, is the more we sprout up, and our light gets a little brighter, and it sprouts past those veils that they put in place, past those spells that they speak on us, and we break those generational curses, because we no longer teach ourselves and our kids and our nieces and nephews the things that we were taught, right? We teach them better. Okay, so we teach them what comes from our DNA, those messages that comes to us. And it's because some of us are the original seeds. A lot of us are not. A lot of us are distractions to the seeds of the seeds. Okay, everybody is not one. Just because you're melanated, it does not mean that you are one of those seeds, or you are a product of one of those seeds. Okay, there are millions, probably billions of us that are not. I don't know how many original seeds were stolen, but it was a handful. But yes, okay, so that oh shit, it's starting to fade. Fuck. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So, okay. Yes. My apologies. Sometimes, like I said, if you don't stay on that path and stay focused on what you're speaking on, you can get distracted easily. Now, we are the spiritual beings have been searching for us. Okay, they will not stop searching for us, because they cannot remake us. Okay, they can't. The higher creator can't remake us, because we are of that higher source, and they put all of themselves into all of those seeds. Okay, so the workers are now basically out here looking for the creators. They're looking for the pieces, kind of like Voldemort when he broke off pieces of himself. I'll forget, y'all. I watch Harry Potter too, but yes, kind of like how he broke himself off in the Horcruxes, or however you pronounce that, in the Horcrux. Yeah, so and into those different pieces, kind of how our high creator did with the seeds. It was like, okay, look, all of these has to they have to be of me, but different at the same time. They have to give something different. It has to be of love, pain, da 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 da. Okay, everything, every emotion is a different seed. Okay, so the more that we sprout up, and the cleaner our connection is, the brighter that sprout is, and we are able to be seen by those searching for us, and we get pulled up. Now, the thing that is fucking these the seed of the seeds that originally stole us, they are forgetting. They're starting to believe their own lies, and they're starting to forget the stories of the truth. Okay, and because they're forgetting, we're starting to remember. All right, and they're slipping up in some of their lies to try to keep us down. They got to a point of being so complacent and so egotistical in their control, that they were just like, oh yeah, whatever, I got this, like, when a motherfucker get real cocky on some shit, they kind of just let loose on the reins a little bit. And that's exactly what happened. It was like, oh, I got this, them niggas eating out my hands, woo up the bam, I don't have to do nothing else now. But the moment they said that and did that is the moment that they started to believe their own lies. They started to believe that they were the original people, and they actually all of these stories that they're trying to, the histories that they're trying to remake. And because they burned a lot of our histories, they can't go back and fucking remember the truth. But we can never forget the truth. Those of us that are the seeds of the original seeds can never forget the truth, because it is in our DNA. Right? Yes, so that is what's happening right now to this world. That's why things look so chaotic. It is not actually chaotic. If you sitting in your house, if you feel you are one of the seeds of the original seeds, stay where you are. Do not go out and try to intermingle with people too much. Don't be getting, you're going to see that people are going to keep calling you and trying to get you to come out and get you to kick it. I've already cut everybody off. So I don't have to worry about that. I just keep getting things of distraction. Okay. That's my thing. Things of distraction have been getting me. As far as, not only, well, diet wise, I've been doing good. I did eat some meat yesterday, well, and today as well. Being completely honest, it was those skinless Ekron sausages or whatever. I don't know why, but my body was craving meat. Don't always listen to the vessel, all right? Because again, we have been poisoned, and until you get all of that poison cleaned out of your body, yeah, you're going to keep doing certain things that you were trained to do, taught to do. But yeah, this is, yo, that's just the message that I got through that like 20-minute meditation, and I wrote it down as best I could, and I just really wanted to share with y'all because that was some deep shit. If you agree with this, if you take the time to watch this, I know that you are one of the seeds of the original seeds, and I thank you for taking the time. Okay. Excuse me. I was just eating some salted cucumbers. Stay green. Eat green things like salads and put a little sea salt on top of that. I don't know what the sea salt does, but for some reason it just balances it out. Before you add whatever dressing it is that you add to yours, put a little sea salt on top of your salad. Don't ask me why. It works though. It really does. It is a huge difference, and it keeps you fuller for some reason. It keeps you fuller a little longer. But yeah, and you know, like I got a cup of salted cucumbers. Okay, I'm off the track. Anyways, but yes, if you want to converse about this, or if you feel like I hit some nails on the head, please comment, like, share. Yeah.